2021. Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching My Media Prime Television live from Douala, Cameroon. My name is Fon Quinta, welcoming you to the morning edition of Prime Flash. We begin the news in the Central region, where a 5-year-old kid has died and others are injured after a landslide knocked down their house at the St. Sands Road and the Cap neighborhood in Yaoundé. The landslide happened yesterday at about 8:30 p.m. and according to reports, occupants of the affected house were internally displaced persons from the northwest region who moved into that house few months ago. Now, 3 persons have been reported dead and 1 other sustained serious injuries after an attack carried out at the divisional office for Bali Kumbat in the northwest region of Cameroon. According to military report, the residence of the divisional officer was attacked by a group of terrorists at about 3 a.m. on June 22nd, leaving 2 gendarmes and 1 civilian dead. Report adds that a bike rider who was passing by with a passenger died on the spot, while his passenger sustained injuries after a military vehicle landed on an improvised explosive device. This attack follows a series of attacks on government forces and the 2 English-speaking regions of Cameroon that has claimed the lives of many. Now, officials of Douala, Cameroon's economic capital, have intensified the fight against urban disorder. To this effect, the mayor of the Douala City Council was out on the streets with his team sending warning signals to road vendors, as we hear in the following report. That was what protest action carried out by motorcycle riders in Marua. Now, officials of Douala, Cameroon's economic capital, have intensified the fight against urban disorder. To this effect, the Douala city mayor and his team visited some streets, sending shocking waves to those occupying roadsides, as we hear in the following report.
Plying the douche stretch of road in Aqua has never been an easy task, since roadside vendors have transformed the area into a daily market. It is for this reason that the Douala City Council has embarked on a mission to completely free the roadside from street vendors. A move not gladly welcomed by the roadside vendors, who complain of the unavailability of another site to carry out their economic activities. They insist that most of them do what they do because of the unavailability of jobs. Therefore, if the council truly intends cleaning the area, then the council must be ready to provide a more decent site for them to carry on with their petty trade.
We are not here because we want to be here. It is because we don't have anywhere to go. The city mayor should provide an alternative and better site for us, and we will leave.
The city mayor, on his part, has promised tough times for the roadside vendors throughout his mandate.
Either they move by choice or we make them move. They do not have a choice.
However, most roadside vendors have grumbled about the amount of money the city council have demanded from them in order for them to carry out their commercial activities on this area. According to Article 26 in the Constitution of Cameroon and Article 21 of the Penal Code, it is clearly stated that violators of minor crimes are eligible to pay the price of not more than 10 days imprisonment and a fine of at least 25,000 francs CFA. Contrary to what the Constitution says, the amount of money being taxed by the council is grossly exaggerated. A sum of 200,000 francs CFA from poor Cameroonians struggling for survival within the context of the COVID-19 pandemic, which has greatly paralyzed economic activities and rendered many jobless.
Now, commercial motorcycle riders in Marua, far north region of Cameroon, have protested against insecurity. The angry motorcycle riders disrupted circulation as they say the police force has failed to ensure their security. The riders complained that after a criminal is arrested and taken to the police for justice to take its course, he is seen out few days after. Their protest comes after a colleague of theirs was killed and the alleged killer taken to the police force, but the motorcycle riders say it should be handed over to them for justice to be done. Now, the government of Cameroon has issued strong warnings to perpetrators of sexual abuse in the country. This was during a press conference chaired by the Minister of Women's Empowerment and the Family, Professor Marie-Thérèse Abena-Ondwa in Yaoundé. The press conference comes after an 18-year-old girl identified as Malika, who is currently at the center of a sex tape scandal with a renowned sports commentator Martin Camus. The phenomenon of sexual abuse on children and young girls and the immoral use of their images on social media was the core of the press conference attended by ministers of secondary education, social affairs, Secretary of State to the Minister of Basic Education, and Secretary General at the Ministry of Communication. Now, as the June 2021 parliamentary session unfolds, new bills and social concerns are taking center stage at the plenary session. The following report gives us updates of the recent parliamentary session.
The second ordinary session of Parliament, which opened on Tuesday, June 8, 2021, at the National Assembly and Senate respectively in Yaoundé, has since witnessed both lawmaking institutions and stakeholders meeting with their respective House chambers representatives for the first time since the passing away of the Vice Speaker of the National Assembly, Honorable Emilia Munjoa Lifaka, and the eldest member of Senate, Fon Victor Mukete. Remarkable enough, during this plenary session, concerns about the stakes of human rights violation in Cameroon, following a 2020 report by the Cameroon Human Rights Commission.
The Commission has a broad mandate to promote and to protect human rights and to prevent any situation of torture. For that purpose, we should visit all the places where people are detained, all over the country.
Still, during the information and exchange seminar between the Constitutional Law Committee and the representatives of the Cameroon Human Rights Commission, the head of the CHRC, Professor James Mwanga Kobile, also mentioned some challenges they face.
The biggest problem we are facing is the access to the places where the allegations of human rights violations are raised. Because we need to conduct field work, we should to conduct inquiries, but sometimes it's difficult.
Like an Oliver Twist, the professor further said the Human Rights Commission has to address Parliament in plenary sessions and not only in specialized meetings as these.
Call on the parliamentarians to implement Belgrade principles on relations between parliaments and national human rights institutions.
The session that will last for 1 month is expected to scrutinize government's actions, examine and adopt bills, including the debate on the orientation of the budget, children's parliament, special plenary sitting on the following issues of national interest, exchanges and briefing sessions for general committees.
And out of the country, the U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken has said that the ceasefire agreement in Libya must be fully implemented and all foreign forces withdrawn from the country. Mr. Blinken was speaking in Berlin, where he is attending a second round of United Nations-sponsored Libyan peace talks alongside representatives from Russia, Turkey, France, and Egypt, coming months after a new national unity government was formed in Libya. Some 20,000 foreign fighters are still thought to be in Libya, and their presence is seen as a threat to the United Nations-backed transition, leading to elections scheduled for December 2021. And at least 14 people were killed and more than 30 others seriously injured in South Sudan's Lake State. The state police spokesperson, Captain Elijah Moba, said armed youths from Pokam community attacked the cattle camp in Gok village, killing at least 14 people. It added that in the last 4 months, an estimated 105 civilians in the state have been killed in similar incidents, which often spark intercommunal violence. According to the United Nations Food and Agricultural Organization, South Sudan has over 31 million heads of cattle, making it one of the world's leaders in animal wealth per capita. This concludes the morning edition of Prime Flash on My Media Prime Television. My name is Fon Quinta. The morning edition was compiled and produced by CHRISTAIN. TEBONG. Stay tuned to more programs on the African Iron at 3:30 p.m. I'll be back with what's making news in and out of the country. Until then, Keep watching programs on the African iBuy.